Hi everyone, welcome back to Bumble Stitches. My name's Nicola and this is my Flosstube episode number 50. Today is Sunday the 26th of August. Now, as I always start these videos by saying it has been a while, and this time it has been quite a while, in fact about 3 months since I last did a video, so I have got a huge amount of things to share with you today. So I hope you'll be sitting comfortably and make sure you've got a drink to hand and all the necessary things to get you through this epic video that I'm about to record for you now. I did do a quick poll on Instagram because I've got quite a lot of stitching and quilting / sewing to share with you today, and I was in two minds whether to do a stitching video and a quilting video separately, but general consensus seemed to be that you guys just want to see everything. So thank you for being so enthusiastic about catching up with what I've been doing. As I said, it has been a while and I've been busy. Work has been very, very busy, incredibly busy. In fact, we've had some very hot weather. We've had a little spot of COVID in the household. I've been on a couple of trips and days out. So there has been an awful lot going on. I'm going to try to, I did have some footage of a couple of things that I've done. One was I went to the Royal Norfolk show from work and saw lots of wonderful prize animals being paraded around with their rosettes and that kind of thing. But I am conscious that this video is going to get really, really long. So I'm going to keep the sort of inserts to a minimum and hopefully keep it nice and snappy so we can get through everything today. Now, I've got some notes. I need notes because there is a lot to talk about and I don't want to forget anything. And what I did, just briefly, I'll show you. I made this notebook cover a while ago for a Laurie Holt planner that I had last year and the year before. Well, I haven't got one of those this year. I don't think that they did one, but I just bought a really cheap notebook in one of the sort of, discount shops and just sectioned it off. So I've got sections for my notes, for quilting, sewing, other things, Flosstube, everything. So it's all in here. And hopefully this is going to keep us on the straight and narrow. So I'm going to start off with a few little things that I always mean to say and then I forget. So this is to keep me on track. I've also got a highlighter pen handy so that if there's anything that I need to remember to put links into, I'm going to stop and do that right away, because by the time I get to editing, I don't know, I think it's an age thing. I could just get this like forgetfulness and brain fog and completely forget what I was going to do. So this, okay, I am waffling on now, aren't I? So let's get on with some of today's business. So first of all, there are a few floss tubes and videos that I've been watching on YouTube and enjoying immensely. First of all, I have to mention my lovely friend Paula, the Snail Garden, and Paula's most recent video is all about her whips and it covers all her stitching and making and knitting, and it is a delight to watch. So if you're not already watching Paula's channel, do pop over and give her a visit there. And of course, Paula was my Festival of Quilts buddy this year. We went along to the NEC at Birmingham, but there's going to be much more to talk about on that subject a bit later. The other person that I keep meaning to mention, well, I say keep meaning, on my last Flosstube, must mention Sian, and I didn't. Sian, I am so sorry, forgive me. I'm sure most of you have all found Sian at Periwinkle Stitcher here on Flosstube. And Sian is an absolute delight, and everything that she sews and quilts and stitches is just exquisite. So if you haven't already found Sian, and I'm a bit jealous if you haven't because you get to enjoy it all for the first time. I think she's got about 4 videos out now. Do pop along and watch her and you will be in for a treat. So that's Sian at Periwinkle Stitcher. Another channel that I've been watching, and I looked back in my history to see what have I been watching mostly lately, and that is Stitch with Rachel. It's not a Flosstube, it's a channel. Rachel's a British girl in the Midlands in Birmingham, and she does quilting, English paper piecing, foundation paper piecing, all that type of crafting, but she is amazing. She's very nice to listen to. The things she makes are gorgeous. She does some fabulous tutorials. So do give Rachel a watch if that's your bag too. She has some fantastic videos about her trip to the Festival of Quilts and her haul, and as I said, just absolutely gorgeous. I've been watching quite a lot of her lately, so I'll put a link in the show notes below so that you can have a little look at Rachel's channel. Congratulations are in order for a couple of our members of our stitching community. One is Michelle of Mum Loves You GB. Congratulations to you, Michelle. She's going to be visiting the attic and lecturing there, so that's a huge accomplishment, so congratulations to you. And more congratulations to Shelley of Antique Needleworkers, who has recently launched her own cross-stitch designs, has dipped her toe into the world of designing. So big congratulations to you, Shelley, and I'm sure that your designs are going to be a great success. And kudos to people that can make that jump, you know, from a stitcher to a designer. I know that obviously Shelley has recently done it. I know that Annie did it, Annie of The Proper Stitcher, and also Michelle of Mama Loves You GB. Lots of others. I'm not discounting anybody, just ones that spring to mind. But I think it's amazing to be able to sort of make that leap and start making your own designs. I am not a creative person in that way at all. I'm quite happy to let the talented folks out there do it for me and stitch their designs, but I do appreciate the hard work that must go into doing that kind of thing. I briefly mentioned that I've had some trips out. I went to Ireland on a work visit, which was lovely because I had never been to Ireland before, and it's such a beautiful country. Flew into Dublin and then travelled down a couple of hours into the south of the country where my company's HQ is. Didn't have much time for filming or doing any of that. It was pretty much work from the moment we got there to the moment we flew back. I think that's where I got COVID though, from Dublin airport, so that was a nice souvenir. The other trip, of course, was the Festival of Quilts at the NEC at the beginning of August. The Royal Norfolk Show, which I briefly touched on, which was lovely, an absolutely swelteringly hot day, and I had lots of meetings with customers and suppliers there. So, yeah, that was a little bit of a challenge. And more recently, I had the opportunity to go to a little town sort of between the Bath and Bristol area called Chipping Sodbury, and found a rather lovely fabric shop there. So that was a nice day out too. And while I remember, in case I don't mention it, I have booked myself on the Stacey Nash workshop at the Cowslip workshop down in Cornwall for May next year, and I'll be going along with my lovely friend Paula, so that's also some really exciting news that I'm very much looking forward to. And of course Stacey has just launched a whole new family of animals into her Animal Cracker series, which are based on British animals, and they look absolutely stunning. So much excitement around that one. Okay, I'm going to turn my page now and we'll get on with the actual episode properly. I'm going to split today's video into two sections. I'm going to cover everything stitching, FFOs, whips, haul, giveaways, everything, the whole shebang now. And then when I've done that, I'm going to move on to the quilting section. So if you're not interested in hearing about the Festival of Quilts, seeing all my quilty haul and all that kind of stuff, then you'll know when it's time to say goodbye on that. But I really hope you do stick around because there's so much that I want to share with you and I'm super excited about. Is that everything? Are we ready to go? I think we probably are. Okay, much looking at notes, so do forgive me because it is absolutely essential today. I'm going to start off with a couple of FFOs. And the first one, I've got a lot of things here on the ironing board in front of me that I use as a table when I'm doing this. And I'm worried about knocking things off. And I make no apology for the glorious mess that is behind me here and also over here, because this is all coming up in the quilty section. But anyway, I am digressing. So a FFO for me back in June time, I think, was this July basket stitch. And this is that a bit of fluff on there? And this is a design by Cosford Rise Stitchery. And this is a chart that I bought from, I think it's Kelly, from her Etsy store. And the pattern comes with lots and lots of different options for the flag there. Of course, I went with the British Union Jack, and I pulled flosses from Stash to get a good enough representation of the colourways used on the model, and I'm really pleased with how this came out. This was just a scrap of some 32 count, I think it was Lugana, that I had in Stash, and I finished this off with some Laurie Holt fabric in this lovely navy and red and white. I think this may be from the cookbook range, and some ruffled seam binding ribbon in this lovely navy blue as well. So this was a really nice addition to my few little patriotic pieces that I've got and that I'm hoping to add to. So that was a nice little FFO to get done. I'm just going to be throwing stuff on the floor, so if you hear crunkles and thuds, that's what it is, but otherwise it's all going to get a little bit too much. Okay, the next FFO, I only have 2 in cross stitching. I shared this on my Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen these already, but of course you haven't seen the up live and personal editions. This is Mice in the Sewing Room by Brenda Gervais, and look at these absolutely gorgeous, busy little mice ladies busying themselves in the sewing room with their lovely little tomato pin cushions and their pins and needles and standing on the tape measure. I loved stitching that tape measure. It was really, really enjoyable. And I love the way Brenda has you do the additional strands over the spool and from the needle to really give it that 3-dimensional look. Now this, I'll show you the chart. It's in the plastic, so do forgive any reflections. So this is Mice in the Sewing Room. And this was a gift quite a few years ago now from my lovely friend Jules of So Sweet Violet. So Jules, I have finally finished my mice and couldn't be happier with them. I was also very, very happy with the fabric that I chose for the backing. And this is a fabric, here it is, I've got quite a lot of it. I think I got 1/2 metre of it because I loved it so much. I got this from the Wool Warehouse here in the UK, and it was pretty inexpensive. I used just an off-white rickrack, which I've sewn all the way around the edge. And this goes with my other sort of tomato related stitching things, bits and bobs, tomato-y bits and bobs, but really, really thrilled with how this turned out. I used the called for, and I used a 36 count linen, and I can't, or was it a 32 count? I literally can't remember. I am sorry. It may have been a 32 count, but I did stitch 1 thread over 2 linen threads. I must be a better floss tuber and remember to write down what I used. But with a design like this, you can't go wrong. If you've got a neutral piece of linen, Aida, even weave, they're going to look fab, especially in the lovely variegated threads. I think this was Mountain Mist, this the colour for their dresses. So those are my beautiful little mice in the sewing room. So we'll pop them down out of the way. Let's see how we are on my little schedule. Next, I'm going to move on to some happy mail that I have received since I saw you last. Now, when I spoke last to you, I was all on about the red, white and blue, all the patriotic stuff, and of course the tomatoes, which I'm still totally in love with. And a lovely viewer got in contact with me, Kelly, all the way from the United States, and she offered to send me a vintage tomato pin cushion. I'll share that with you in a moment. She sent me a lovely card, this cute cat. Really, I've written down where she's from. She's from Indianapolis. Kelly's in Indianapolis. And she was so very kind. First of all, she sent me this amazing vintage tomato, which is my pride and joy at the moment. So thank you, Kelly. It's absolutely perfect. And when it's sitting in the my wooden bowl with the mice from the sewing room, it just looks absolutely perfect. So I couldn't be happier with that. And Kelly wrote in her note to me that she couldn't just send a tomato all that way on its own. So she sent me some other really lovely goodies as well. She sent me a gorgeous fat quarter of this fabric. Really pretty, vintage looking fabric with the roses there. She sent me, and I think she's made these next two items, this little tiny flamingo fabric sort of thread catcher, or whatever you want to pop in it, catcher. Really lovely. People are so kind and so generous. This gorgeous little pouch that she's quilted. I don't know if you can see the quilting. It's all quilted and all lined and quilted inside. Beautifully made. If that wasn't enough, she also sent me this little notepad, stitching related, with the old, looks like a featherweight. Do your thing. I certainly will. And the lovely designs there, and it says taking it one stitch at a time on the front. That is gorgeous. Thank you, Kelly. And also a tiny tart tin for a finish. So Kelly, I can't thank you enough. Obviously I did thank Kelly before today, but the generosity and thinking of me and to send me such a special pin cushion and your gorgeous handmade work is just amazing. Thank you. I'm not going to throw my tomato on the floor because that would be very bad of me. I'm going to pop it over there out of the way and just pop these things down here. And the next gift I received was from Paula when we went to the Festival of Quilts, and I am such a bad friend. I didn't take a gift for Paula, so hopefully she's forgiven me, but Paula made me this beautiful oval shaped pin cushion, finished beautifully, as is everything that Paula makes. The way she's sewn the rickrack on there. I can't remember where the design was from. I know she said it was a freebie. It is on her latest video. If you need to know, go and check out her video. It may have been Not Forgotten Farm. I'm not sure. Go watch Paula's video, then you'll know. And would you just look at those pins with the beads? And Paula made those pins, the decorative pins, herself, which is just wow. What a special piece. Thank you so much, Paula. This is lovely. And I do hope you've forgiven me for not getting you a gift at the Festival of Quilts. I think I was so excited about going, I couldn't think about anything else other than actually being there. So that is a treasure for sure. Let's pop that one to one side as well with the tomato. Now, moving on from Happy Mail, I had a giveaway in the last episode. And I'm going to announce that now, because it was all patriotic, that episode. I had a few patriotic pieces, well, a couple, and I've added an additional one since. So it was for the Star Spangled Ornaments collection from It's So Emma, and also for the patriotic typeface series. And these are 3 designs from their typeface, but they're smaller ones, so these will fit, as you can see there, into a dough bowl. I can't speak today. Since then, I realised in sorting out my stash that I had bought the Patriotic Quaker from Primrose Cottage twice. I bought a hard copy and I'd bought a PDF copy. So I'm going to just include my print of my PDF copy in this bundle. And there were lots of entries. Thank you for your interest, everybody. And the winner of this bundle is Koto P Cat. It's a funny name. I'm going to pop the screenshot on the screen here now so you can see. It's Kotopkat, Koto P Cat. So congratulations to you. If you can contact me at the email address below in the description box, and I will get your prize sent out to you. I do have, I've got a couple of giveaways actually. I've got 3 giveaways because I've been away so long and I've accumulated so much stuff. I've got 3 giveaways in the cross stitching section and 1 in the quilting section. So do stick around for those. Pop that down there. Okay, so let's move on to some plans. I'll do the giveaways at the end of this section. Okay, so plans are, if I can reach the things I need to reach. This was something from my patriotic little selection of things that I wanted to do. And it's this from Samplers and Stitches, and it's Liberty Rose. I had purchased it a while ago, but I've got it all printed out and I've got it kitted up with all the DMC, and I'm actually doing this as a swap. I'm going to stitch the British version, and my swap partner is going to stitch the American version, and we are going to swap. So it won't be for a while yet, but I'll share my progress with you. I've got some linen chosen, which I don't have out here at the moment, and that's going to be a future start, well, in the near future. But an even nearer future start, if that makes any sense at all, is an upcoming stitch along that I'm going to be doing with Fat Quarter Shop. And it is, I'm going to take it out of the bag so that it isn't terribly glary. Do some crinkling and rustling while I go. It's the Hometown Holiday Sampler by Laurie Holt for It's So Emma. And look at that. It's got all of Laurie's charm and her colourways and everything that we love about her. But it's also a really pretty, festive Christmas sampler. Now this is all in DMC. Fat Quarter Shop have been very generous and sent me all the supplies that I need for this. This is the floss pack, all DMC. But of course, if you buy the chart, which I believe is also available as a PDF, if you wanted to stitch along, all the DMC is listed on the back here, and it's only the red, which is 347, which I think is Laurie's favourite red, which you need 2 skeins for. And they give you lots of options and give you all the sizes for 14 count Ada, 25 count Lugana, and right the way up to 40 count linen. I'm going to be stitching on 36 count linen. I shall do 1 strand of floss over 2 linen threads, and that will come out as a finished size of just over 6 inches by just under 7.5 inches. So I think that's going to be absolutely stunning. Let me share with you the fabric that I'm going to be using. And I've chosen a Picture This Plus. It's a 32 count. I'm telling fibs. I thought it was a 36 count. So that will give me a little bit of a bigger size, not too much bigger. Just under 7 by just over 8 inches. So a really nice size. Let's take this linen out of the bag so I can share it with you. And it's, the colourway is Vellum. And I think it's a nice, it's got some mottling there. It's a little bit crunkly, but I think that will soften up nicely as I start stitching on it. But I think it's going to be a perfect linen to stitch that sampler on, and I'm really looking forward to starting on that. Let me give you a couple of little facts about the stitch along in case you want to join in. As I said, you can download the pattern as a PDF. Just pop that down there. If you want to start and you haven't got time or don't want to get the hard copy. So the stitch along starts on September the 7th. And it runs for 9 weeks and ends on November the 2nd. So you have plenty of time to get it finished up in time to add to your Christmas and holiday decor in your home. We're going to be stitching it a row at a time. I've put the pattern down there now, so I can't show you. I'll put a graphic up here on the screen. So it'll be one row of the sampler each week. So I think it'd be nice and easy to keep up with, says she that's awful at keeping up with stitch alongs. And I think it's really going to be a fun one. So do join in if you can, and let me know if you are joining in. Okay, I'm going to move on now to I'm going to clear the decks a little bit more. If Alf gets in here, I've absolutely had it, because he's going to have a field day with all this stuff. But he's in with his dad, so I think we'll be okay for a little while. Let's have a look at some whips. I've got all my whips next to me on a spare chair. And I was doing a bit of patriotic, then we moved into July, so I did some Christmas in July, and then we moved into August and I decided to do some Halloween stitching. So I've got a little bit of everything to share with you today. Now, I don't know what this one is. Oh, this is just a random one. This didn't fall in line with anything. This was just because. This is in my lovely bag from Little Jamie on Etsy. And this is Teresa Kogut, and it's needle and flax. So this is for my tomato related stitching to go in my bowl. And I've neglected this little lady for a while. I haven't ironed anything today, I do apologise. But here is some progress on her. Not a huge amount. I've been flying here, there and everywhere with my stitching lately. But a bit of progress, as you can see. And she's been stitched all in the called for DMCs, which I've got here. A little bit of a rat's nest going on at the bottom, but some lovely colours in there. So that was not anything themed, but, well, yeah, tomato themed. So let's put that one away. And let's go back to June, when I was doing some patriotic stitching, and share that first. So in this bag here, my Tilda interpretation of the American flag. I have got, what have we got in here? Yes, this is, let me move the chart out of the way. This is from Miss Prim on Etsy. If I fold it that way, it's going to be easy to show. And this is Betsy Ross. And this is a shaped pillow. And she does a whole series of these. She does Abraham Lincoln. She even does some Jane Austen characters and all sorts of wonderful things. But I really, really like this Betsy Ross one. So my progress is not great, but I'll show you what I have. I'm using pretty much all the called for. There's some DMC in here. There's some Gentle Arts, Classic Colourworks, and some Weeks Dye Works. So these are the colours. Most important, I guess, is to mention that the red is Buckeye Scarlet and the blue is Wavy Navy. I don't think she called for that. I don't think I could get... She called for Midnight by Gentle Arts, but I couldn't get it anywhere. And I settled on Wavy Navy, and it's absolutely fine. I'm stitching it on West Green Loft hand-dyed linen. This is from the January Club in the colourway Vintage Lace, 36 count. And here is my little bit of progress. I started in the bottom right. Again, apologies for not ironing. And you can see not a lot of progress, but it's a start. So that's Heavens to Betsy. So that's literally that little tiny bit down here. There's quite a lot of the other colours, sort of big blocks of stitching. So I think once we get, but a lot of counting in that one. So I think it's probably why I didn't do a huge amount. My brain hasn't been kind to me on the counting front lately. Let's pop that one away. And these probably won't come out again until next year, because there are so many Christmas things and all the things that I need to stitch and make. This was another little start that I had, a patriotic start. This is a design by, excuse the crunkling, Ros Clark Crafts. This was the stitching jack, which I'm going to hold back because the printout is just the chart, and it's the Union Jack. And I decided to use Vicky from West Green's hand dyed flosses for this. This was the July Club. Was it last year? It's called Star Spangled Banner, and it's these lovely sort of faded red, white and blue as well, pale blues and pinks, and with that nice sort of vintage look. And I made a small star again on this one. What way up is it? So just sort of the middle of the flag. One section's scissors, one section of the flag is needles, cross stitches and hoops. So it's a very stitchy related patriotic piece. So I will get back to that one in due course. And that one is living in my Union Jack bag that I made with some lovely Kath Kidston fabric with all these lovely London scenes on. Once I'd finished with patriotic, I moved on to Christmas in July, and I've got 3 pieces here, no 4, that I stitched on. So first of all, a lot of these were projects that I started last year on my 12 days of Stitchmas. I was starting a project. I had 12 projects kitted up, and I was starting one each day, and obviously that doesn't give you a lot. I did record every other day, so I sort of had 2 days for each project, but that's not a lot of time. Well, not for me. I'm not a very fast stitcher to actually get my stitching really into gear. This is another Laurie Holt chart. This is the vintage Christmas sampler, which I've stitched before, but in another guise as smalls to go in a bowl. But I really wanted it as the sampler. So I am using for this, I wanted to get that real sort of kitsch, sort of 50s vintage vibe on it. So I'm using some fabric that was from Crafty Kate. It was a fabric of the month back in 2023, and it's a 36 count, and it's this lovely pink. So you can see I've got 4. It's looking darker in camera than it actually is, but you can see I've got 4 blocks done. These have the tiny buttons added at the end, which will really add dimension and lift them. So for example, on this Christmas tree that's looking a little bit sad here, it will have all these lovely buttons on, as will the gingerbread man with his buttons. Santa's got a button here. You get the picture. They get all tarted up for Christmas. And this one I'm using all the cord for DMC, but I have changed the outline in the chart is in the white or ecru, whatever it calls for. What does it call for? No, it calls for white. But I've changed that to the aqua colour so that it stands out on my pink. So really enjoying picking that one up again. And because I'm stitching it on 36 count, this will finish up. It doesn't say on the back, it only gives you, I think I worked out it was only going to be about 7 inches by about 6, something like that. It's not going to be very big, so I think it'll be really cute in a little frame for Christmas. So that one can go away. And then I couldn't resist anymore. I had to have a Brenda fix. I had to get my Brenda Gervais charts out. This is a little, this is one of Carrie Tiger Lily's cut. This should be a blooper. This is from Carrie at Tiger Lily Designs. This is her small mini keeper that I downloaded the PDF pattern from her shop and made one of these using, I think this may have been fig tree fabric. I can't remember exactly. And it's got the 2 sections inside. So this has got 2 Christmas projects in. I only worked on one of them during July. Again, I have got out my West Green Loft fabric from my Fabric of the Month Club. And this one just says Goodwill at the moment. But in fact, if I show you the chart, this is from the Bells of Christmas by Brenda. and it's a set of 2 bells. It's going to be Goodwill to Men, Peace on Earth and Goodwill to Men. I started out with this one, and this is so pretty. I really have enjoyed stitching on this one with these little tiny sheep and the church. And I'm using cord for this. It's got this lovely cadet bluey green from Weeks Dye Works. There's some DMC in here. There's quite a lot of DMC actually. So I'm looking forward to getting both of those bells done. And somewhere in my stash, I did get some rusty jingle bells to use when I finish that one off. So many things that I just want to do and want to make and finish. It was interesting. I was having a chat with the lady that's going to be doing some long arm quilting for me the other evening when I dropped my quilt off. I'll tell you more about it in the quilting section. But one thing she said to me was, I was saying about being at work full time and just really wanting extra time to make all the things and do all the sewing and quilting and everything. And she said to me, I hate to burst your bubble, but I'm retired, she said, and there still isn't enough time to do all the things you want to make. So don't focus on that being the answer to everything, she said, because there just still isn't enough time to do all the things, but hopefully a little bit more time. Okay, the next project lives in this bag that Paula made for one of our advent swaps. And there's a tin in here making some noise, I feel. Okay, this is another of Brenda's, and this one is Merry Old Soul. Let me take him out of the bag so we don't get too much glare. So here he is. He's going to be a perfect friend for the snowman on Peppermint Pals, the snowman, which I completed. And here is my progress on him. And I think he has just the most cheerful face. He's got his candy cane in his belt. He's got no legs. He's got no hands. But he's happy because he's got his candy cane. He hasn't even got a pom-pom on his hat yet. But I am stitching this on, I think this is some of Paula's linen. And I think, if I look in the bag, have I got the tag or did I put it on the... Here we go. So it's from Eva Faith, which is Paula's Etsy shop. It's 36 count linen in the colourway Dove, and I'm using all the cord for. If I can get all the cord for Brenda's designs, I tend to do that because I just think she gets it so right. Who am I to change it? So that is Merry Old Soul. And the final piece of Christmas stitching that I had been doing in July is in another really cute bag. This is from Rachel Makes on Etsy, I think. If you're desperate to know, ask me and I'll find the link. But she does some gorgeous project bags. And in here is Mr. Marshmallow. So there he is on his huge hot cocoa cup, and I've had the fabric for this one for ages. It's greener than this, than it's showing on the camera. The camera's washing it out quite a bit. I don't know if I move it. Does that look a little bit greener? It's a proper green. It's a 36 count, and have I got a tag for it? This came from Hazel at, it's 36 count evergreen, and she's at Foxglove and Lace. I think she used to sell linen on Instagram. I don't know if she does anymore, but her linen is gorgeous. So there's my progress on Mr. Marshmallow. I didn't get much of him done during the Christmas period last year, but I cracked on, got him done, got the outline of the cup so I can do some filling, and obviously there's lots of lovely branches and leaves and foliage around him. So that was another enjoyable stitch. I'm going to step this up a bit because I've already been recording for almost 40 minutes and we haven't finished the cross stitch section yet. Okay, I was going to show you my cast stitching. I'm going to whiz past that one. We'll share that next time because I want to get on to what I've been stitching most recently, and thoughts turned to Halloween and getting some finishes done for that. This is another bag I made from the Kitty Corn fabric. And in here I have Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee by Brenda Gervais, which is this one that you're probably all familiar with. I think there are 5 or 6 designs in this book, and the plan is to stitch them all. I'm using mostly called for and some DMC. A little bit of a mishmash on this one. I think I was impatient to start it when I got it. And this is just on a piece of vintage country mocha from Zweigart. And so far I have completed Trick or Treat. This little cutie here. And at the moment I'm working on the crow pulling the little cart with his pumpkins in. So I should be able to get them all on this one piece of linen, which is what I'm trying to do with the little booklets of Brenda's. I still haven't fully finished my Keeper of the Pins by Brenda. That's all stitched but needs to be finished. Back to the not enough hours in the day. And in this gorgeous moody looking Halloween bag, which was from Pauline at Sobe Bags, and Pauline sells her gorgeous bags on Instagram, so do follow her if you're not already. This is another Brenda. This is an early Brenda, and this is a pain to stitch because it's on black fabric, it's on Weeks fabric, it's old Weeks, which is the really sort of excuse me, my hair is getting in my face. It's a bit of a looser weave. It's on 2 strands of floss. It's all, if it wasn't a Brenda design, I didn't love it so much, it would be gone. But I need to have this finished item, and it is the Black Cat sampler. And look at him. If that's not perfection in Halloween stitching, then show me something that is, because I think it's amazing. So that's the chart. Flosses are all DMC, called for. And here's my progress. So up close and personal, this is not neat. As I said, the fabric's a bit loosey-goosey. It's 2 strands of floss, which I'm out of the habit of stitching with. I get a much needed, it's got lots of bits of Alfie's fur on it, which is attractive. I'm used to stitching with 1 strand of floss now, and to go back to 2 strands of floss, whilst there is nothing wrong with that, I love the coverage, it's that top stitch, and when you have to railroad to get it to sit really, really nicely, and that coupled with this fabric and it being dark, and yeah, I'm not enjoying it, but I really desperately want the finished object, so I will press on with it. Once that last pumpkin's filled in, it's just the letters, so it shouldn't take too long from that point in. And I've got all the bits and pieces ready for finishing. I've got some black interfacing in my stash for interfacing it, and I've got a piece of fabric here to make the little ruff collar around his neck, and some Weeks dye work, sort of tweed, sort of, is that houndstooth? Yeah, houndstooth check wool to make the little party hat. I'm really looking forward to making it. I just need to buckle down and get the cat stitched. Okay, let me check the notes. Where are we up to? I'm just going to cover my haul, and then we'll do the giveaways, and then we'll move on to the quilting. So for haul, very random piece of haul this. It's just a slice of wood, and it was the best out of the bunch. I got this from Hobbycraft. They had a big stack of them. It's sort of where they have all the stuff for making your own wedding bits and bobs, decorations, table, name places, all that kind of thing. But I wanted it for this little guy, Snow Magical by Brenda Gervais. I couldn't get a hold of this wooden piece. For some bizarre reason, the wooden piece couldn't be shipped here to the UK. This is by Chantel's 141 Design Company. And I was a bit sad about it, and I didn't start him, and I was just a bit, I was a bit sad. But then I saw this and I thought, well, I could stitch him. He's on 40 count. I'm going to put my big girl pants on and my big girl glasses on and stitch him on 40 count. And I've checked the measurements. He will fit on here nicely. And I might just find a way of just fixing another little block of wood to the back so it just stands up as it is. And I think it'll actually give a really nice finish. So all is not lost and the snowman will have his day. So that was random, but I thought, you see these things and you have to just grab them when you see them, don't you? So that they're ready for when you need them. I've had 3 months worth of my West Green Loft fabric club from Vicky. So this beautiful, very, very pale blue is called Darcy Blue. Mr. Darcy, I assume. This was the June club. Then for July, Vicky didn't name this one. This is just almost like a chalky white, a little bit creamy, chalky sort of ivory. Gorgeous. And then this one for August didn't have a colourway either. It's this lovely, rich sort of tea colour. And those three together, absolutely scrumptious. I've got a whole wonderful box of these and I do use them, but I've got quite a lot and I've got no plans to cancel my subscription anytime soon because this fabric is just gorgeous. Perhaps on the next episode I'll walk you through my whole stash of this gorgeous linen. Okay, the pile's getting really high down there now. I also bought some Zweigart. This is just some, they say 35 count on the pack, but it says 36 count online. This is summer khaki. I thought it was a nice neutral colour that'd be handy for lots of things. And then, what else did I get then? Now, Sian, Periwinkle Stitches, if you're watching, I blame you for this next pile of haul. It's not a very big pile, but it's wonderful. And this was after watching Sian. So she shared her gorgeous patriotic stitching and charts that she'd got, and I hopped on over to Farm Girl Dry Goods and treated myself to some of the newer charts from Brenda. So this is Grand Old Flag. Then I got Summer's Swan. And in her last video, Sian has done this with the, she's put the Union Jack in here. So Sian, I might ask you to give me a hand with that because I think that would be really nice to do that. And finally, and this was absolutely stunning. And I can't get it out the pack. And this is Lady Liberty by Blackbird Designs. And Sian has stitched this and made it into a drum. And it's absolutely beautiful. The photograph really, really does not do this piece justice. There aren't any more photos inside, but absolutely beautiful. So those three were Sian's fault. And then I can't blame Sian for the other couple of charts that just popped into my basket while I was on Michelle's web shop. But it's Brenda again. It's Boo to You. And obviously he's the same style as Henrietta & Co, the Easter Bunny one that I recently finished. Merry Old Soul, the Snowman one whose name has just popped out of my head again. Peppermint Pals, I think. And they're all that similar sort of style. So that's a must for Halloween. And then this one, quite an older one, I think. I've seen this stitched up and it is such a gorgeous sampler. This is called Heart and Hand. And I just think it's beautiful. I think the border is just exquisite. Really, really love that. I mean, that's not going to be anytime soon. That's going to be when I have all that wonderful time in my retirement, I guess. But I just thought I would get it while I have the opportunity to. Okay, I think that's all my haul. I'm going to quickly show you some. Am I going to quickly show you some of? Let me just organise these. Okay, organised. I've got some goodies from Fat Quarter Shop to show you. These are the cross stitch goodies that I have been sent, and they are. This is from the Shelf Life series, which is all jars, things in jars, and this is May's Flowers. And then we have, what's this? June's Sailboat. That is so super cute. And obviously you can stitch these as a series or you can stitch them individually. And this one is July's Fireworks. So absolutely gorgeous. Now what I would like to do with these, this is number 5, 6 and 7. And I've already got from the beginning of the year, 1 through 4. So there was the snowman, the hearts, the bird, and the welly boot and the umbrella for April. So there are 7 in total there. I'm going to give these away all together. If you want to use the word jars, J-A-R-S, jars, in your comment, I'll do a giveaway on these. Next up, Fat Quarter Shop sent me set U of Laurie's stitch cards. And these have got sort of like a patriotic theme going on, haven't they? There's a little flag here and all these wonderful quilt stars. Staying with Laurie, we have the Beehive House from the Hometown Neighbourhood series and the Topiary House. And these have got wonderful quotes at the bottom of them as well. Really nice stitches. Again, on their own as part of the series. And then we have Be My Honey. And From Honey to Bunnies, that's Bunny's Bakery. And then we have got the Simply Signs number 2, which is Home. And Simply Signs number 3, which is Berry. And I think I may be wrong, but I think a lot of these It's So Emma cross stitch charts are available as PDFs. They used to keep them exclusive to the hard copies for a while, but I think now if you go onto Fat Quarter Shop's website, you can get them and download straight away. The next thing that I was kindly sent, is from the Historical Sampler Company, and this is their Happy Halloween Stitch Along. Now this has actually already come to an end, and the lovely ladies there did reach out to me and ask me if I wanted to stitch along, and I said I would love to, but back to the not enough hours in the day. So they said, well, we'll send you the kit anyway and the PDFs so that, you know, you can stitch along or give it away or whatever. So I thought I would give this one away. Now inside, oops, in this mysterious black envelope is the fabric. This is Zweigart fabric, and there are all the DMC flosses that you need. I also have all of the PDFs that I can email to the winner so that you can stitch your Halloween. It was a mystery stitch along, but obviously it's finished now. I'll try and pop an image up here. So if you are interested in winning this, please use the word historical. Okay, so the word for that is historical. And then finally, while I was sorting out the extra jars, I found a whole brood of chickens. So these are Laurie Holt's Chicken Club designs. I don't have a full set. There is 1 and then it jumps to 5. There must have been some gone away in giveaways. But there's 1 and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so there's 1 on its own and then 5 through 12. So there are quite a few of these Laurie Holt Chicken Club charts, which are all absolutely gorgeous. So if you would like to win the chickens and have your own brood, please use the word chickens in your comment. The same rules apply to all the giveaways. You have to be over 18 because I need to physically send these products to you. Please like and subscribe like my video and subscribe to my channel, and don't mention the word giveaway, freebie, win, anything like that in the comments, because the nasty trolls come along and take over our comment section. Okay, I have finished the cross stitch section, so I hope you've enjoyed that. I'm going to quickly pause the video now, grab a drink, get loaded up, and we'll hit the quilting. So I'll see you then. Right, I've rearranged everything. You can see there's a lot of stuff moved from the table. Not quite all. Let me just grab some more things. Things. Okay, we've got a lot of things going on here. So I hope you're ready. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to share with you all is a Quilty FFO. And again, if you have been, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen this. This is my peppermint forest quilt, and I don't know if I've got enough room. I've kind of blocked myself in to this little cave of fabric and stitching. It's quite a nice little cave, but I am blocked in nonetheless. Let me just bear with me while I just readjust things, and I might need to move the chair out of the way a little bit so I can show you the quilt. And you're not going to be able to see it all, and it's the repeating design. You don't need to, there is a photo of it on Instagram as well, and I'll bring it up a little bit closer so you can see some of the fabrics. You can also see my dodgy wavy line quilting that I did, and this was a long-term project. I started this a couple of years ago, and it sat and languished for a very long time, but I finally got it finished and bound. It's just plain white on the back, but it's a nice size. It's, well, you can't really judge, but it's from here to here. And yeah, you can get a better idea of the image on Instagram. I'll try and pop the image in here as well. And this was, believe it or not, I'm going to sit down in a sec so you can see. Let me just move it out of the way so I can sit down again and talk to you properly, so you don't have to see a headless floss tuber. Yes, so this is a free pattern from Jedi Craft Girl, and you can go onto her website and download it. There's also a pattern for a table runner, which is really cute as well. I use lots of scraps, well, some scraps, and I bought some fabrics as well. And they're a bit of a mishmash. There's a Moda grungy spot here. There's some Tilda here. There's some of these pinky ones are Laurie Holt Christmas fabrics. There's this one, which is just like a little ditzy pattern. There's some candy canes here. It's a bit of a glorified mashup of green and red and pink and white, and I'm really, really pleased with it. For the peppermint blocks, I use the Fat Quarter Shop triangles on a roll to get those half square triangles really neat. And overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. As I said, the quilting is a little bit on the dodgy side. It's all wavy lines. But on my machine here, my Janome, that I don't know if you can see behind me, it's quite a small machine. I love it. It does everything I need it to do, but it's got quite a small throat space. And manhandling this quilt through, even just to get straight lines, was a bit of a task. I can remember it was probably about a month ago or so that I did it, and I was doing it in stages, and then coming back into the lounge, excuse me while I adjust my chair, and saying to Justin, if I ever say that I'm going to quilt a quilt myself, stop me, because I'm not doing it. My neck was hurting, my shoulders were hurting. I was like a hot mess basically, but I got it done. and bound and finished, and that's something that I'm really pleased to have done. So that was my FFO. I've also had an FFO of Millie's dresses, which, as you know, I was quilting along with Fat Quarter Shop. This is Millie's dresses. Now, Millie isn't with us today. Millie is otherwise engaged. She's staying with Valerie and John of Daisy May Quilting, and they are the long armers, and they're going to make her look beautiful for me. I finally got the quilt top finished last weekend, and then on Wednesday evening I went along to their house and took my backing fabric with me, took my quilt top, chose the design I wanted, chose the batting, and have left her in their very capable hands. So it's all done in Laurie's Mercantile fabric line. I had a bit of a mare with the border, this pieced border. I'd finished the dress section quite a while ago and thought, oh, I've only got to do the borders. How long can that take? The page that says do the borders is like add the borders. Gives you the cutting instructions, add the borders. Easy, I thought. I was really, I'm not a very experienced quilter, and I haven't really done a quilt like this with borders before. But they took a while, especially that pieced one. And by the time I'd done, this is a section, and then there's a border here along the edge of the dresses, which is in the same background fabric. So that's border 1. Border 2 is in the alpine green. Border 3 is this one. Border 4 is the pieced one, and then border 5 is another in the background fabric. By the time I got to putting border 4 on, I'd gone awry a bit somewhere, and I had to unpick and make a couple of these sections a bit smaller. I had to fudge it basically, but I remembered I was getting a bit upset and thought, I've done all this work and now it doesn't match, and what am I going to do? And then I remembered my cross stitch there. Laurie, you are the boss of your own quilt. I thought, it's fine, just stitch it, finish it, get it quilted. So that's what I've done, and I'm really, really excited to have her back. So what can I tell you about Millie? Let me just move that. I still have her scrappy binding to do. I've got all my 2.5 inch pieces from each of the dress fabrics to make the scrappy binding, so I need to get to work, get that ready, although I think it will be a few weeks before she's back. Incidentally, this is Daisy May Quilting. They've got a website and they came highly recommended, and it couldn't have been nicer people. Really had a nice time chatting with them about quilting when I went to visit on Wednesday night, and the beautiful quilts other people had made that were ready for collection were just, it was quite a sight to see. So that's where the quilt is. Now this was a quilt kit that was kindly sent to me by Fat Quarter Shop to quilt along with them, and a really important point, not important point, but something that I felt I should let you all know. If you have not had a quilt kit from Fat Quarter Shop before and you're worrying, like, you know, you're like me, you've not done a huge amount of quilting before, and they are, you know, they're not inexpensive. You get a lot for your money, but it's still a considered purchase. And you think, what if I mess it up? What if I don't have enough fabric? Let me just show you. I have completed my quilt top. I've cut all my binding out, and let me just show you. I have all this fabric left over. There is a huge amount of fabric in here. If I just grab some, excuse the box, just so you can get an idea of all the fabric that I have left over. There is so much here that I can add to my scraps, my Laurie Holtz scraps, to make other projects with. I mean, every bit that I cut off that wasn't, you know, a tiny scrap, I've kept. But there's a lot of fabric here, so, you know, the story is, don't worry, you've got plenty. If you make a mistake, you can dive in and you've still got plenty of fabric. And I think it's, you know, a really, really good point to note. So in saying that, Millie is off. I will share her with you as soon as she comes back from her travels, and I've put her binding on. But let's talk about the Festival of Quilts. I'm just going to keep the Millie's pile there for a second because I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Okay, Festival of Quilts. It was a Friday, the first Friday of August. I took a day off work and I drove up and met Paula outside the NEC, and in we went, and oh my goodness, it was amazing. I've been to the knitting and stitching shows before, but I've never been to Festival of Quilts, and it was a mixture of complete overwhelming beauty and talent at the quilts that were on display. It was an overload of inspiration. It was also a little bit of, should I really bother making quilts? Because they're never ever going to look like these. But overall, it was just totally inspiring. The quilts there covered every genre that you can think of. The standard was absolutely incredible. I will pop a few photos in. I may actually have put some of the photos at the very beginning of the whole episode so that you can see some of the quilts. But as I said, if you want to see some really good footage, go and check out Stitch with Rachel, who I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. There's been lots. If you just Google it, not Google it, if you just search on YouTube, you'll find loads of videos that really cover well, because I did intend to vlog while I was there, but I was so overwhelmed that I completely forgot. So let me, I can't show you the quilts because I don't have them here, obviously, but I do have some quilty haul. So I'm just going to drag the chair over that I've got sitting next to me, and I put all my stuff in this basket here so that I could share it with you. Okay, I'm going to start off with a quilt kit that I bought from the Bramble Patch. This is a baby quilt kit. One of my colleagues in work is leaving end of September, so not very far away, to have a baby boy, and I knew I wanted to make her a quilt, and I wasn't really sure, and then I saw the quilt hanging up as a sample at the show, and then when I saw these fabrics I knew it was the one. So if you can see these beautiful colours, and what really drew me was these wood grains. I think they're absolutely gorgeous, and the whole quilt is designed as, let me see if I did have the leaflet that shows a better photo, but I don't know if you can see there, it's a panel in the middle with a border, and then all the other fabrics set sort of like in a offset sort of brickwork pattern. And this is the fabric that goes in the middle. This is a Riley Blake Designs. I don't know what the range is called. Oh, Elma and Eloise by Dina Rutter. And this is the fabric that goes in the middle with the lovely woodland animals. So I need to really get cracking on this one. I will quilt this myself because it's only small. It's 34 by 40 inches, and I'll just do some straight line like a crosshatch or something like that. Although, wouldn't that look amazing if I tried to do like a wood grain free motion? Getting carried away. Okay, so that's that. I'll pop that behind me. Then, what's next? What shall I show you next from the Festival of Quilts? Let's go to something that I think is just amazing, and that is this. I am so late to this party. The Luna Lapin by Sarah Peel. And if you haven't seen Luna before, I've seen her before but didn't really take that much notice, but suddenly it was literally a rabbit hole of Luna loveliness, and I bought the book before the show so I could have a good look at it. And while I was there at the show, the people from Cool Crafting, which I believe is Sarah's company, had some of the kits to make the rabbit herself and some clothes as well. So that was it. I was sold. My plan is to make Luna on my, I don't know if you can see it, or just sticking out there a tiny bit is my featherweight machine, my Alice. And my plan is to make Luna on Alice. So I've got, these are in cellophane, so excuse any glares. This is the actual kit for making the rabbit body and ears. It's Liberty fabric for the inside of the ears and the bottom of the feet, the thread, and this is a wool felt. So let's pop that on there. No, let's pop that in there. Then I have got this kit here for making the coat with, it's like a double-breasted coat with buttons, and also the dress. So in here are the dress fabrics, the trims, and the felt for making the coat. And if I just flick to, actually I don't need to, this is the coat that she's wearing on the cover. This is probably because I've been watching the Sewing Bee, the Great British Sewing Bee. If you're overseas and you're not familiar with it, it's a show that's been going for about 10 years now on the BBC. You can probably see it on the BBC iPlayer, or if anywhere else that you would watch British TV shows. And basically it's like a knockout competition of dressmaking. But it's just inspiring, even if you're not a dressmaker, just to see people sewing is a joy. And because I've been seeing people sewing clothing, I thought, I'm not very good at sewing clothes for me. I'm a bit of a funny shape. So I could make clothes for a rabbit instead. So I also picked up this little kit, and this is Luna's ballet wrap and slippers knitting pattern. But not only does it come with the mohair to make the ballet wrap and the shoes, it comes with some lovely sparkly tulle, which I can't get to them. I will share these all when I start making them, but just to give you an overview. So that's everything you need to make this little outfit here. And then I thought, well, any rabbit girl of mine is not going to be running around with no knickers on. So I bought the French knickers pack, which is super cute, with the lace, the elastic, and the little ribbon roses, and even some little shoes with the buckles and everything. So brilliantly thought out and so well marketed. And this is a little card that they popped in the bag. Amazing. If you've got Luna and you haven't made her, I know Paula has got Luna but hasn't made her yet, or if you really like the idea of it, it's not really a toy, it's more of an heirloom piece, and I've already got plans of where she's going to sit and the outfit she's going to have. But I thought it might be nice to do a little make along and make Luna together and share progress. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and perhaps it's something we can do, just an informal make along. And there's lots of videos again on YouTube. I've watched lots of Luna videos, how to make the clothes. Again, search that if you're interested and see what you think. Okay, so that was my little Luna journey. Oh, while I was on that stand as well, I bought a fat quarter bundle of this fabric with carrots and radishes and broccoli. I think it's broccoli. Oh no, that's broccoli. These might be cabbages, and broccoli and nasturtiums, because I thought that a rabbit would love a pair of carrot pajamas. So you can see I got it was down the rabbit hole. So that's all for Luna. Okay, moving on now, when I check my notes. The next rabbit hole I went down was kind of rabbit hole themed. And I didn't actually buy these at the show, but it was totally because of the show that I did. Alice Caroline was there with her stand, and she is a Liberty fabric stockist, and she has released this quilt book, Alice's Wonderland sampler quilt. So again, we're still with the rabbits, and it's 100 blocks, and the book takes you through from very simple pieced blocks. There are applique blocks, EPP blocks, and piece blocks in this quilt, and each one from 1 through to 100, they get increasingly more complicated. You build your skills as you go through the book. Stitch with Rachel has got a couple of videos about this, and she even shares some of the blocks that she's made. So inspiring. So I got the book, and I have also got a couple just to start me off with some of the smaller blocks, although I will need to increase my Liberty stash, which is a terrible thing. I got a couple of, these are just charm packs, but just to get me going on some of the smaller blocks of Liberty fabric. So that was that. We are running out of space. Then I went along to Jen Kingwell's stand at the show, and I've heard of Jen Kingwell in quilting before, but I've never really looked at her designs or given it much thought. But in seeing, being at the show and being inspired by the quilts on display and the fabrics and everything being there, really, really liked what I saw. So there is a book which I bought, which is called Quilt Recipes by Jen Kingwell, and this book is not just quilt recipes, there are also some baking recipes from Jen's mum in here, which are fabulous. So I think the stars of this book for me, I think there are quite a few quilts, but there are 3 that I definitely, or 2 that I will make, and a 3rd that I possibly will make. I'm just trying to see if they're listed in here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 12 patterns for quilting in here, and then baking recipes. Now, the photography in this book is amazing. The actual book itself has got a lovely feel to it. The baking recipes at the back, the lady on the stand said you absolutely have to make the coconut and, no, it weren't coconut, ginger and white chocolate cookies. So there's lovely recipes in here as well. This is just such a gorgeous book. But there are a couple of patterns from the book that I'm particularly interested in. This one here, which is called Wensleydale. There are lots of examples on the hashtag on Instagram for this one. This is the template set, but I think this is going to be a lot of work to English paper piece. So I think I may get the foundation papers for this one. And again, you can just go to town with your scraps on this. Absolutely stunning. The other one in the book that I really, really like, which I think does need to be English paper piece. Oh, there goes something. It's called Winky Stars. And it's this one here. I don't know if you can see that quilt there. Again, the photography is stunning. And there's a better picture of it there. So that one has my heart as well. They had a pattern on the stand, which I thought might be in the book, and it wasn't. Is this one called Lamingtons for Tea? And this is by Louise Pappas. And Louise is apparently part of what's called the Jen Kingwell collective. So other designers that work with Jen, and this is her design. And this one I've actually made a start on. So I'm going to very quickly, I think I've shown you all my haul from the, oh no, there's one last thing, and then we'll move on to Lamingtons for Tea. And that was this little EPP kit from Ashmead Designs to make an apple, a red apple, using their hexiform method, which there'll be more on that when I get round to this one. Needless to say, I think I'm going to try and make this into a tomato. Just do different leaves and a shorter stem. But anyway, what I really want to talk to you about is Lamingtons for Tea. So let's move Luna's book out of the way. Let's move this out of the way, and let's talk about Lamingtons for Tea. Lamingtons, if you don't know, are a cake that they have in Australia. I've never had one. They're sort of cube shape, and I think they can come in all sorts of flavours, but they're basically, I think, sponge cake in a cube, and they're called Lamingtons. So this design, how fabulous. Look at all the scrappy wonderfulness. I couldn't wait. I literally couldn't wait. I love it so much. So I thought, what fabric are you going to do it in? You're not going to buy more fabric because you've got loads. My good idea was to use all Laurie Holt fabric and to use my scraps. So yay me for using what I've got. And I spent a lovely evening going through all my Laurie Holt scraps. I've got a lot. Obviously, I've got everything that I showed you in here, which now I've showed you how much was left. I can add these to the pile. And then I went through and I found I had a bee cross stitch charm pack. Perfect. I've got lots and lots of other scrappiness here from other quilts, and some fat quarters from a fat quarter Laurie Holt fat quarter club I was in. I've got lots more Laurie Holt fat quarters, but I've whittled it down to these being the favourites. I then found in my stash, when I say found, I knew I had it, but you know, it was just sort of in deep stash, this layer cake of Bee Basics, and there are lots of wonderful prints in here that I can utilise, and all the colourways, so they will be absolutely gorgeous. And obviously the Millie's Dresses scraps. So I got some cheap card in the range, like a lightweight card to print out the templates, and I started my first one last night. Now I wish I had a bit more. I had intended to get this finished so I could show you today, but it was getting late and my eyes were just like, no, enough already, so I stopped. So I have got the first part of my Lamington for Tea block, and the crosses sit on the diagonal, so you can see how this one's going to be when it's got the rest of it attached. Here's the back, all in Laurie fabric. Do you think it's going to be fab? Because I do, and I'm so excited. What I need to do now is just get the printer flying out those template pages so I can cut some more. These are the rest of the templates for that block, and match, you know, get some groups of 3 fabrics together that I know I'm going to really like, that have got a nice contrast, that are nice and bright and cheery and big enough for the amount of templates I need to cut. I've glue basted these, yeah, and just if I just get one block EPP'd a month. How many are there in it? 36 blocks. That's 3 years. But you know, sometimes these things take a while. So that is what I'm really, really excited about. I just pulled out this little basket. I've got a pin cushion in there. I've got some Orifil thread, my thimble, you know, all the bits and pieces that I need, the templates that are ready to go. And I can just, you know, sometimes when my eyes have had enough of cross stitching, I can just pull this out and get a block done and eventually have a wonderful Lamingtons for Tea quilt. So that's that. Perfect. The next thing that I'm going to make obviously is the baby quilt, and I would like to make a start on a couple of the blocks for Alice's Wonderland as well. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I've got some more, a little bit more quilty haul to share with you. And then I have got a giveaway as well for this section. Oh, and a little shout out to Dawn, who is So Daisy. I met her for the first time at Festival of Quilts, and she was handing out these lovely little postage stamps she'd made with fabric, just with her Instagram handle and Festival of Quilts 2024. Fabulous idea. Might have to do that for next time. So hello Dawn, and hopefully see you at Cowslip next year. Right, quilty haul, the rest of it. I have to preface this by saying I've been away for 3 months, and Festival of Quilts was a special occasion. Just putting that out there. Okay. These Tilda dots, aren't they fabulous? This was from my local quilt shop in Felixstowe in Suffolk, which is called KIS, Keep It Simple Quilting. If you're visiting and you want a lovely quilt shop to go to, that's the one. Gorgeous fabrics, gorgeous ladies, and I'm so lucky that they are just up the road from me. So I bought those. Now there's a plan for these. This chart here, spring green pears, what's the relation between this and these? My plan is to stitch each of these on coloured linen, pink, green and blue probably, and then the fabric part do with the corresponding Tilda dots. So I've got 3 polka dot pairs. So that's what I'd like to do with those. Then I have also got, oh, and I picked up a little tiny mini charm while I was there as well. This was by the cash desk in a basket. Then I went to, where did I go to then? I went to Chipping Sudbury. I mentioned this, didn't I, at the very beginning, and found a lovely fabric shop called Koala Creations. They're on Instagram as well. And in there, I bought some Liberty fabrics. These are not Tana Lawn. These are the quilting fabrics. I won't go through them all because we will be here forever. And there's some more Liberty here. And also, I think those bottom ones are all Liberty. And these are just gorgeous. And I can't remember who these are by. I'm hoping it's a bit of the selvage that actually tells me. It's Wyndham Fabrics. Are there any more clues? Any more clues? No, not at the moment. But again, if you're desperate to know, but it was this that got me. These blue hearts. Absolutely beautiful. And also in there, I was thinking of Luna's clothing. They had these, they're not Liberty, but they are very reminiscent of Liberty print bias bindings. So I got a couple of meters of each of these. They were really inexpensive. I think they're about £1.20 a metre or something crazy like that. And I just wound them and put them on this spool. So I thought they looked cute. I bought some new pins from Amazon because my pins are a little bit, well, they're not rusty because I wouldn't use them if they were rusty, but they're a bit blunt. So I treated myself to some new pins. And finally, I have some lovely quilty things that Fat Quarter Shop have sent me. And then I've got a little giveaway. And then I'm going to let you go. Okay, so from Fat Quarter Shop, these are some Laurie Holt designs. This one is called Crows in the Corn. He's fabulous. I think I might need to make him into a project bag actually for some of my autumn and Halloween stitching. The quilty version of Hometown Holiday sampler. Again, I'm thinking I might need to make something from this into a project bag to keep my stitching in. Like I've got so much time to do that. Thing is, you make time, don't you? If it's something you really want to do, you make the time. Next up is the Quilted Snowman. And look at him. He is amazing, super cute. And these are all available now. And then they also sent me, I think this one came first, these two lovely quilt books. This is The Strawberry Garden by Joanna Figueroa of Fig Tree Quilts. Look at the strawberries and the blocks on this. It's just the way these are all styled. It just makes you want to make everything, doesn't it? So that's absolutely beautiful. And then this I was particularly excited about. This is the Halloween Memories by Susan Ockey. And if you remember, I had a copy of Summer Memories by Susan Ockey. And this book follows the same format. There are lots of quilts in here. Gorgeous quilts, as you can see. Let me give you an idea of some of the quilts. I'm trying to get to pages that don't have the instructions on them. So here are some of the quilts, like these sort of spiderweb inspired designs. But what this book also has, as did Summer Memories, is it has some cross stitch designs at the back, which I think is a really good mix. And some of these charts here are gorgeous. Really, really lovely. There's one here that I was particularly interested in. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Do some singing for you. I can't find the one I wanted to do. This one, I'll just do it from the side so I don't show the chart. How cute is that? Possibly not on black linen. So thank you, Fat Quarter Shop, for sharing those lovely quilty things with us. I've got a giveaway for this section. Now, a while ago, I had a giveaway and I didn't hear from the winner. So I'm going to add to... Let me just explain how this works. These are new charts that Fat Quarter Shop have just sent me. There's a whole range here. There's a couple of baby charts. There is, let me just go through them really quickly. Family reunion, Ritsy Bitsy Babies, baby quilts, Beechwood, a Kim Deal one, Hidden Stars, and another Kim Deal one, Morning Gatherings, a lovely traditional quilt there. So what I thought I would do, as I was so inspired by the Festival of Quilts, I'm going to add those new ones to the giveaway that wasn't claimed before, which has got some other, quite a big bundle of quilting charts patterns as well, and the quilted patchwork pouch from Little Jamie that was that she sent to me as a gift. So I'm going to put all of that together. This one is, unfortunately, I can just do this one to UK subscribers. So apologies, but this is going to be a little bit heavy and a bit costly to send. So all the other cross-stitch ones are open internationally. This one is just UK only. Please use the word Birmingham as your, where the Festival of Quilts was held. If I use the word festival, then anyone that talks about the Festival of Quilts, it will get confusing. So I thought Birmingham would be a good word. So use that as your keyword if you would like to win this bundle. And I may even have a few more quilt patterns that I can throw in with this as well for a UK winner. So I think finally, after what's probably been far too long, I have reached the end of everything I wanted to share with you today. A big thank you if you've watched the whole video. You need a medal. But seriously, thank you for coming back if you have. I know I'm a bit of a... I'm a little bit of an unreliable floss tuber, but I do so enjoy my time with you when I get the chance to film. And next time probably won't be quite as much stuff around me. But then I said that last time, didn't I? So I will see you again and take care. Bye.